It just seems like the Clippers as a team, as a whole, really can't just get a break. They can't catch a break. I mean, it just seems like there's always something holding them back from being what a lot of people envision them to be. And I'm not saying that, what they're going through right now is going to hold them back long term. But what I'm saying is it possibly can hold them back long term, because this team right here, they're always injury riddled. You see what I'm saying? And, of course, you heard me speak on Kawhi Leonard and, his frustrations, and there's no timetable for his return. He's listed as day to day. Then, Reggie Jackson, a key component for the Clippers, is not available late in the game, versus the Utah Jazz that just happened last night. Because, of knee issues. He banged knees with somebody. That's an issue there. And it's possible he might not play Monday, today against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, which that'll be a very interesting game, I would say, at the least. We'll have to see how that pans out, but be very interesting to see how that game is or how it goes. Definitely be tuned in for that one, because Cleveland's playing very well also. But, my point is, this team seems to be injury riddled. And then on top of that, nobody really spoke about Robert Covington, his injury as well. He was available, for the Clippers. He played 6 minutes against Utah. Didn't play really at all. Didn't have no impact on the game. No points, no stats really, anything there. But his presence is always good, but it's definitely always better, of course, when he's actually, contributing on the offensive end as well, because it actually increases his defense also. So just the Clippers as a whole, man, they just seem so, like I said, they're injury riddled right now. There's a lot of questions about Kawhi. There's a lot of questions about the team, in regards to, just the team as a whole. And all these questions that you're hearing about this team and the injuries and the timetable for Kawhi and all these things, it's a lot of questions being raised about this team. And it's only 9 games in the season, 10 games in the season. You see what I'm saying? And this is not good, for Clippers Nation, because you want to have your team playing as good as you can, as good as they can, and you want them playing as high level as possible and everybody being on the floor as available as possible, so they can really actually put this thing together. Because a lot of people can say that this team will go to the NBA Finals, and I'm one of those people. I still believe they can go to the NBA Finals and win it, even where they are now. I believe Kawhi gets healthy, gets his knee right, everything like that. And then, Reggie Jackson, gets, healthy since he banged knees. And, Reggie really needs to find his stride more than anything. I know he's banged knees and stuff like that. It might not be available Monday, but Reggie Jackson really has lost his fire to me, or lost his hot sauce, if you want to ask, if you ask me, because I really don't see the Reggie Jackson I saw like last year and the year before. I don't know if John Wall mentally has kind of, done something to Reggie Jackson, because, in hindsight, regardless, more so than not, John Wall is going to take a lot of Reggie Jackson's minutes. He just is, over time. I mean, John Wall's playing good. I feel like he's been the most impressive, Clipper this whole time. Honestly, I mean, I know Paul George has had some big games, but big games don't equate to anything when you lose. You see what I'm saying? It's just another game with a bunch of stats. That's just the way it is. Or as Shannon and them say on Undisputed, empty calories. So I mean, and then, like I said, there's times where, Paul George can give you 40, but then there's the next game he might give you 12 or 15. And I just don't understand that about Paul George. I never understood that about him as a player. He's always been like that, too, for the most part. Or at least for the last several years, he's been like that anyway. I think in Indiana, he was a little bit better. But still, my point is, it's always something with this team here. And as I said before, you can even, like I said, I still, blame Ty Lue too. I mean, he's not playing the young players as much. He's not getting the production out of some of the young guys that he should. I don't know. I feel like he's leaning too much on the starters. And, when you lean too much on the starters like that, to log in heavy minutes and do all the work, the heavy workload, and you got these young guys on the back end with all this energy and all this youth, and you're not really putting them to use like that, I just feel like it's going to hurt hurt you in the long run. And I feel like, the Clippers as a whole, with the coaching right now, the injury reports and the up in the air day to day with Kawhi, and they're still trying to win games and still be competitive, and they're finding themselves, even though Utah is 8-3, granted they've been playing very good this season, but how many teams we've seen play good, in the beginning of the season, then about middle of the season they turn into who they usually or who they really are. You know what I'm saying? And Utah can possibly be that type of situation, even though, as I said, they play well against the Clippers. I still think the Clippers should have beat Utah last night. That's just my opinion. Paul George scored enough, but as I said before, the Clippers, they have this they have this thing in their head as players. Well, we can live by the three because we're not going to die by the three, and it's almost like that's their mentality when they're playing, because they had a 6 to 8 point lead last night, like in the third quarter of that game. And I just felt like the Clippers were more in control. I felt like PG was on a roll. I felt like he can get to the rim, he can score anytime he want to. I felt like he can just, I felt like he really couldn't do no wrong in this game. But then when I look at the fourth quarter, some of the shot selection from him and others on the Clippers, they basically hit a wall in the fourth quarter and couldn't hit anything. They couldn't knock down no threes. They I don't know. They just went cold. And I understand things like that happen, but they just need to be better as a team and more cohesive on the floor and be more aggressive. Stop shooting threes all the time, because what people don't say in the NBA, they'll say it's a 3-point league. It's all about the 3-pointer, the perimeter stretching the floor, small man basketball. That's true. But when your 3-point shot isn't falling, that's when you have to kind of revert back to, playing, big man basketball, go through the paint, get some high quality shots in the paint, or drive to the basket and be aggressive yourself. Put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, draw some fouls, put the other team in foul trouble, put their defense on their heels. Don't bail their defense out by shooting threes, and you miss 3-4 threes in a row, and then all of a sudden this team goes on an 8-0 run, or let's say a 9-2 run or something like that. Then all of a sudden now you're down by a couple of points when you was up by 6 to 8 points before that. It's just little things like that you have to really understand why the Clippers are not where they should be. Because as I said before, even without Kawhi Leonard, they still should have a better record than what they have. And like I said, Utah, give them credit, they're playing good, but the Clippers are better than the Utah Jazz. They have a better roster. They got a better star player. I don't even know who there's no star player on Utah now, but I guess the closest one they would have would probably be Jordan Clarkson to me. But I'm just saying the Clippers overall is a better team than Utah, and Utah is just playing by committee. The Clippers have way more talent, and they just have like a lot more pieces on their bench and everything that should be able to, beat a team like Utah. But this is the point. They can't beat teams like that, not only because they don't have the chemistry that they should, but there's times where the Clippers just play Jekyll and Hyde basketball. They go through these stretches where they feel like shooting the three is their best friend, but in reality, it's their worst enemy, and they really don't even see that, because when they're shooting threes at a high clip, let's say for the first let's say the first half of the game, they're shooting at a high clip of threes. Most of the time when the Clippers are shooting good from the 3-point range, it continues throughout the game because they kind of, live off the streak of being hot. But there's times where when you watch the Clippers hit a wall the way they did last night against Utah, not shooting their best, or shooting their best in the fourth quarter anyway. That's where they kind of, lagged off there in the fourth quarter, but they continuously keep doing it, as in like it's going to be the common denominator. If you see your jump shot not falling, they teach us this in high school. If you see your jump shot not falling, then find ways to be effective other ways on the defensive end, or be aggressive and take it to the basket. And it's like, when you look at the Clippers, it's like they don't realize that. And it's like, damn, does it take Kawhi Leonard to be on the floor for you guys to really understand that? You are NBA players. You should know if your jump shot is is not falling, you need to do something else to help, because having a team like that winning a game like that last night is, it's good for the Clippers' confidence, because they're beating a team that, is up there in the standings. And on top of that, they're beating a team that is playing really well right now. And without their main guy, Kawhi Leonard, now Paul George is stepping up a little bit. But at the same time, you got to find ways to take games like that home. Paul George has got to take a game like that home, because he is the best player on the floor against both teams, and really he couldn't be stopped. But at the same time, it's not all his fault, but at the same time, it's like you got to find ways to win games like that, and see games like that come back to haunt you throughout the season. Because when you look at games where it's like, oh, we was up a few points against this team, we had the momentum, we had everything going, we were playing well, we was at home, all this and that, Paul George was scoring like crazy. He was going crazy out there, couldn't nobody stop him. But at the same time, you found a way to lose the game because you settled for shots when you could have, put the extra effort in and put the extra initiative in, and be more aggressive and take that game home. And like I said, winning games like that, when it's tight in the fourth quarter, your jump shot's not falling, but you find ways to be effective and find ways to win. Those are the games that build chemistry. Those are the games that build that continuity. Those are the games that build the structure of the team mentally and physically, because it's like, okay, we've been through several games this year where it was a nail biter, it was coming down to it, and we had to out execute this team, play by play in the fourth quarter, and we did it. Even though this team made a comeback, even though this team was on our heels, we out executed them when it was needed. And see, those are the type of qualities and traits you want to actually adopt and keep as you progress through the season, because that'll teach you the discipline of, okay, when we have to execute plays at a high level in the fourth quarter, are we folding under pressure, or like we used to do a couple seasons ago, or we're actually making strides in that area to be a better team. And that's what the Clippers really have to work on. And as I said before, they should be a lot better than that by now, because with Ty Lue being arguably one of the best coaches in the league, which a lot of people think or thought last year based upon what he did with the superstar-less Clippers last year, he needs to be able to implement that to the players a lot more, because it's almost as if they don't understand that. And as I said, on top of that, they have injuries that, just seem to hold them back. I mean, it's one thing if they were having injuries from some of their guys on the bench, but, the Clippers are having injury from major key contributors on this team, along with, not having good executable plans down the stretch of games when the game is close. Now, the Clippers are up, 10, 15, 20 points or something like that. Well, usually they go ahead and put a game like that away because they're in such, control of a game. It doesn't matter. But there's a lot of games that the Clippers are going to be in this year, especially just by looking at them these first 9 or 10 games. They're going to be in a lot of games this year where they're going to have to out execute teams down the stretch in the fourth quarter of games, and it's really going to show you who the Clippers really are and what they really could be. And the teams that out execute, the coaches that out execute other coaches down the stretch playing a chess game, in the fourth quarter, is usually the teams that represent the team in the East or the West to go to the finals. Usually, because those are the teams that where the coach is very good at chess and out executing, and players understand if the jump shot is not falling, what you need to do. You need to be aggressive. You need to draw fouls, get to the paint, and take as many wide open, high efficient shots as possible. Now, if you drive to the basket and there's somebody out there on the wing at the 3-point line who's wide open for three, and you're double teamed going to the basket, okay, you kick it out to him because that's a wide open shot. And the Clippers have had some of those, of course, but in a lot of games this year, not maybe too many, but this is what I'm saying. Like specifically last night in Utah's game, they had some wide open shots. They were high percentage. They just weren't going down. I just think that when you see your situation like that, you have to be more aggressive to counteract it. And these are the little things that I feel like the Clippers need to get better with. And it's not just because Kawhi Leonard's there or whether he's there or not. They still have to be better with this in general. So just something for the Clippers, I think, to work on. But also, definitely got to find a way to, get some better doctors or some team doctors or something like that, because this team just isn't as healthy as I think they should be. As I said, injuries happen during the season, stuff like that. But the Kawhi Leonard thing, I'm really, really questionable about that. I think everything will be okay with him, but it's just very, very questionable why he isn't playing. And then when he did play the 2 games this season, he was on restricted minutes. All this is, very questionable with this team and everything right now. And the way Ty Lue is coaching this team with the lineups and stuff, that's questionable as well. So, the Clippers have a lot of work to do. They really do. They have a lot of talent, but they also have a lot of work to do. So to really make things better this season, get everybody on the same page, get everybody on the floor to be available. They just have a lot to work on, this season. And I hope that they put it all together because they got time. That's the one good thing I will say about the Clippers right now. They do have time. Time is on their side. So with time being on their side, they got to find a way to get Kawhi healthy. They got to find a way to get themselves, healthy as well and get themselves a better game plan going into games. It looks like the Clippers game plan going into games some nights just look suspect. It doesn't look fluid. It doesn't look like they know what they're going out there for. It doesn't look like they know what they're going to accomplish. And it's like teams who have that championship DNA in them, they know why they're out there. They're playing with a purpose and they're playing with the understanding of it's championship or bust. So yeah, take high quality shots. If you see it not falling, be more aggressive. Going through Zubac a little bit, which he's playing, pretty decent himself. Maybe the numbers don't speak it so much, but he's still playing pretty decent, trying to, get extra rebounds, things like that. But they just got to play, together collectively, and really try to piece this thing together. But right now, as I said, this team is kind of, Jekyll and Hyde to me, win one, lose one kind of sort of type thing they're doing right now. Tonight they got a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that definitely will be a big one. I definitely won't miss it myself, as I don't miss any, but still, it's definitely going to be a good game. I'm going to go ahead and just give you my prediction now on that game. I'm going to go, Clippers 112 to 111. I'm going Clippers 112, 111. Clippers in this game. I think it's going to be really close. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have an outstanding game. I think Paul George is going to have an outstanding game. I think Marcus Moore is going to have another follow-up, 18 to 20 point game himself, I believe. And like I said, the Clippers just got to get a little bit more, scoring from the bench, I believe. But I think they can do that. Robert Covington, seems to be, available now. Get him a little bit more acclimated, get some defense. Him being there makes a lot of difference too defensively. So, they got to find ways to get him in there more and get him healthy so he can, go out there and, produce for him as well. But I definitely think it's going to be a close game. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland won, but I'm picking the Clippers to win it because they got to redeem themselves from a game they should have won last night against Utah. And I think they're going to come out, firing on all cylinders. And hopefully, a victory comes out of that. But let's see what happens. Hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check my other videos if you haven't. And hey, till next time.